Jackson. Coach, appreciate the time. You guys are done. You are in the books now in 2018. What did you see? What did your staff see? What did John Dorsey see collectively in Baker Mayfield that made you want to take him #1 overall? Hugh.
We saw a really good football player that could truly impact our football team in the future. Obviously, Baker had a great college career, but I think the time that we spent with him, watching him, evaluating him, John and his staff, our coaching staff, and then having a chance to spend quality time with him and get to know him a little bit better and find out the things that really made him tick. We found a really happy marriage there with us and him.
Coach, it's Mike Mayock, and I'm just wondering, so you take Baker at 1, you come up again at 4, and you've got 2 outstanding defensive players sitting there with Chubb and Ward. Why Ward over Chubb?
Well, you said it. I mean, obviously, there's 2 really good players there. And then we just had to make a decision what we thought was going to be the most important impact to our football team. And we knew we needed to continue to get better at corner. Again, John did a great job prior to the draft of trying to put as many quality players there as we could. But, boy, having a talent like Denzel Ward sitting there, tremendous ability to be a shutdown corner, we thought that was the best pick for us.
And, Coach, as much as everybody wants to talk about a first round of a draft for obvious reasons, I enjoyed your second round probably more than any of the other ones because you got Austin Corbett, who I think gives you some positional versatility on that offensive line. And then you got that hard hat. You did finally get your Chubb in the second round, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You said it. Austin Corbett is a tremendous football player that can play a lot of different positions, and so he does give us that versatility. And then when you think of Nick Chubb, I mean, obviously this guy was the second leading rusher in the SEC, in the history of the SEC. And obviously we think he's a true AFC North back who can come downhill and play good football for us.
Coach, I want to swing back to Baker real quick. Just, was there a player, you've been at this for a long time, been around the quarterback position for a long time. Was there one particular player that you saw in Baker Mayfield when you were studying him?
Well, I don't know if I saw a particular player because obviously they're all a little bit different, but what I saw was a guy who can complete the ball, can make a lot of different throws from a lot of different platforms, a guy who was a tremendous leader, a guy, as I just said, that again, he knew how to throw the ball in the right spots into his players extremely at a high level. And then when you watched him play, he was always able to elevate his team. And I think, obviously, those characteristics are things that are huge in the National Football League.
Hey, Coach, I got to ask you quickly about 2 guys. Number one, we've talked about Nick Chubb a little bit. I remember a couple of years ago you were saying to Isaiah Crowell, I'd love to get you more touches. Is Nick Chubb going to chew up those touches? And the second part of this question is Antonio Callaway. Because you guys, you're not afraid to have some conviction about players, and there's a lot of opinions about Antonio Callaway where a number of people were shying away from him.
Well, absolutely, Charles. I think the first question about Chubb, obviously there's one football, and now we have a tremendous group of athletes here. And obviously Todd Haley's going to have to make a great decision along with myself on how we split that up. I think that's a good problem to have when you have guys that you got to make decisions how you give them the ball because they're going to be trying to score at every opportunity they get. And Antonio Callaway, obviously, that was an organizational decision. We really talked through that and walked through that. We thought in the 4th round the value of the player was the right opportunity. We understand everything that's being said, but we feel very comfortable as an organization that we're in a good spot, that we have the resources in place to help him first be a good person and a good teammate and then be a really good football player.
And, Coach, once you vet Callaway, and as an organization you feel comfortable with who the kid is, did it help that John Dorsey had gone through that situation with a player like Tyreek Hill, who reaped tremendous football benefits and has stayed clean off the field?
Absolutely. I mean, you said it. All of this was spearheaded by John because he's had some history doing this. I have myself in my background, and so has Coach Haley and then Adam Henry. So we feel really good about the coaches who will be involved. But then, we had to make sure that we talk to our resource group that will also be touching this young man. And so when we put all that together, we felt very good about putting this young man on our football team.
So last couple questions for you, Coach, is the question of when. I'm sure Browns fans are eager to see Baker Mayfield on the field at some point. Is there a chance that he wins the job this summer?
Well, Tyrod Taylor is our starting quarterback, and I'm not going to back off of that. I think it's so important here because of the situation we've been in the last couple of years. We've probably played some guys a little too early. And I want to make sure that Baker's ready when he goes out there. I think I owe him that. I think we owe him that as our first-round draft pick. I don't think you want to play a player until they're really ready to go out there and play. So he'll earn the right. He'll start off as third, and he's got to work his way up and earn the right to be the quarterback here. But right now, Tyrod Taylor is our starter.
And lastly, evaluate John Dorsey. And in that I mean this. He said he didn't even share the pick choice with his wife. If that's the case, don't you think that's a red flag, Hue? Isn't that a red flag?
No, it's not a red flag. He probably didn't share it with his wife, but I had a pretty good idea where we were headed. But okay. John has done a tremendous job, and it's not just him, but Elliott Wolf and Alonzo Highsmith, and we've had Scott McCloughan around and the rest of our personnel group. I think everybody has really done a good job of sticking to a process, truly believing in how John goes about what he does, and him sharing that with our coaching staff as well. So I think it's been a real collaborative effort by everybody in the organization, and I think we've had a really good 2018 draft.
All right, Coach, appreciate it. We will see you on the second Thursday night football game of the year on NFL Network, Jets at Browns. We'll see you week 3.
Looking forward to it.
You got it. That's Hue Jackson right here on NFL.